Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing today? So, welcome to the Women Who Leap Network. I'm your host, Uche Maple. All right, so here at Women Who Leap, our mission is simple yet powerful to empower you, the incredible women who are leaders, entrepreneurs, and purpose driven individuals ready to break boundaries and leap into new heights. Every month, we bring stories, actionable insights, and a community that understands your journey. Whether you're climbing a corporate ladder, building your dream business, or just igniting a movement, let me just tell you, you're in the right place. We celebrate diversity here, embrace challenges, and not afraid to ask the tough questions. So join us as we dive into the world of innovation, leadership, personal growth. Together, we'll learn, we'll grow, and we'll transform. This is more than just a channel, everyone. It's a movement where your voice matters, your dreams are validated, and your potential is limitless. So, are you ready to leap? Let's embark on this journey together. As always, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest podcast. And above all, welcome to the family of Women Who Leap. So, we have a very exciting guest today. And I'm honored because she's awesome. So let's bring you up. Felicia, how are you? How are you?
I'm doing great, Uche. Thank you for that awesome leap into the broadcast.
Absolutely. So normally I don't like to introduce and give everyone their bio because I just think that is very formal. So what our audience like is for me to ask engaging questions. And the first question, Felicia, is please tell the audience, who are you?
Okay, well, my name is Felicia Shanken. I am a women's strategist and success builder. My organization is the Philadelphia Women's Network Connection, and we have a foundation that is called PWNC Foundation.
Absolutely. And what you're going to see, make sure that you, in the comments, you're going to see a link to her organization so that if you have any additional questions, you'll be able to reach out to her. Now, let me say this. When I met Felicia, we were at an event in Philadelphia and we were sitting at the same table. And she was so awesome because this is my first time coming to this type of event before. And Felicia was, if I don't know if you remember this, but you were one of the ones that was really getting the table started in terms of talking and engaging parts. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I do. Because you have to. You know, when you go to those networking events, everybody's nervous. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. And you need someone to break that ice. And that's what I was there for.
Yes, you were, and you did a great job. And ever since then, we've stayed connected. So
Yes.
what this reminds me of is the power of community, but not knowing that the people that are around you, how important that is to reach out to them and stay connected because you just never know where it would lead.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's get started. All right. Now, throughout your career or throughout your life, what are two decisions that have changed the trajectory to who you are today?
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. One of them is firing my corporate job almost 8 years ago. I think
Mhm.
that was the best decision that I ever made in my life. It was fear that kept me there 2 years longer than I wanted to be because I didn't know, the realm, the possibility of going out there and not knowing what's going to happen next. So that's one thing. The second thing that changed the trajectory of my life was listening to that little voice, listening to that voice, that vision that I got in a Panera Bread 5 years ago, saying to start a women's organization, even though it was something that I knew nothing about. So I would have to say it was those two things that probably pushed me to the point of where I am now. And I just want to say real quickly before we go into the next question, everything that I feel that I have ever done that has been successful in my life, in business, has been out of fear. That four-letter word is crippling. Now I look at it differently. I take FEAR and I have it as forget everything and rise. So that's how I lead my life now.
Love that. Go, listen, that's it. Forget everything and rise.
Yes,
So
yes.
what? Okay, so Felicia, in the spirit of that, right? Out of
Mhm,
the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, we know that, especially women, there has been
mhm.
a toll on us, right?
Right.
In terms of just everything that has happened. In your opinion,
Mhm.
what is something that you have been a witness to that women began to realize as a result of when everything started shutting down and when the new normal was starting to come back up again? What is something that you saw women either panicking or like I can't keep doing this, or what was something pivotal that you saw that was a revelation with the women that you were working with?
One of the things which has led me to the mission in our foundation was the fact that women did not have their businesses set up properly.
Mhm.
That hurt me to my heart. A lot of women, especially minority women, could not take advantage of all the government funding that was allowed to us. They wasn't able to take advantage of it because either they did not have a business bank account, or they did not have an EIN number, or they had a business but they were getting paid under the table, so they couldn't show any financials to prove that they had a business. So it was terrible because a lot of them had to close their doors, and they had to close it permanently because they did not have these things in place. So one of the reasons why in PWNC Foundation that we started a program called the PWNC Transition Program was to not have this happen again, to have women come into this program and get the ABCs of starting a business, the basics, how to write a business plan, how to set up your business, how to get a business banking account. A lot of people did not know that you needed a business banking account. They were intertwining their business money with their personal money. So I'm
Mhm.
like, well, when tax time comes, how do you know how much you're bringing in and how much you're letting out? Because now you don't have a business bank account, which really is showing that you really don't have a business.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of little things like that. So once I saw that, I was like, oh no, I don't want this to happen again. I want to make sure that if and when, and who knows, it could happen again or something else, catastrophe happens, that you are prepared, your business is prepared, you have a solid foundation in which to build from. You don't have to have a brick and mortar to be successful. I grew this business out of my home. I'm still working out of my home. But you have to have the basics. You have to have a great business plan. You don't have to know all the ins and outs, but you at least have to have a plan to know where you want to be. Half of your plan is getting funding for your business. When you go and ask for funding or apply for funding, they want to know, how are we going to get our money back? What is your plan? We can give you this money, but how are we going to get it back? So if you're not making money, how are we going to get our money back? So I have to say, through that, it just opened my eyes a lot. Now, for some people, it was a catastrophe. For us, it was a blessing because it allowed PWNC to go global during the pandemic. So that was a blessing for us.
That's I've heard stories about that, but I didn't think that it was that I didn't think it affected that many people.
Oh,
You know how
yes.
you hear things,
Hmm.
but in terms of, not even having a business bank account, the
Yeah.
fundamental things that, you think that you would have, I
Hmm.
didn't realize that that was a real issue during the pandemic, with what you saw. So
Yes.
moving forward, what you just mentioned, for those of you who are listening, she mentioned really great things, in terms of what she saw and what she identified. So you just want to make sure that you have that, and also to reach
Hmm.
out to her as well if you still like, I just don't know, this is difficult for me, because I know, someone I did work with, they were saying that the bank that they were trying to get to has
Hmm.
certain requirements, so therefore they couldn't do it.
Right.
And I was like, really?
Hmm.
I was not aware of that.
Hmm.
Because when I got mine, it was easy. I just opened it up, but I had been banking with my particular bank for over 20 years.
Okay.
So I didn't understand. When people were telling me some of their challenges, Felicia, I
Hmm.
really didn't know like that was really a challenge when opening up a business bank account.
Yeah, because the first thing they ask for is they want to see, that you have an EIN number. They want to see that you are a true business. So you can't open up a business bank account unless you have a piece of paper from the Treasury saying they have an EIN number. And for those of you that don't know what an EIN number is, that is like your social security number for your business. That will follow your business throughout whatever it is that you do, getting grants, getting loans, whatever it is. So they won't even touch you without that first. And once you get that, then the doors are open. And like you said, what you did is what I love, 𝙩𝙧𝙬𝙀, is that you went to a bank that you were already doing business with. And that's what I suggest. Go and get some pricing of different banking accounts and see what it is that they offer you. Like my bank is Santander. I love Santander. As a matter of fact, I won one of their contests. I'm up on their business website, giving some business tips and different things like that. But Santander, on a quarterly basis, always called me, Mrs. Shanken, do you need anything? Do you need help with anything? Do you need merchant services? What else can we help you with? That's the type of service that you want from your bank.
Okay, I need to go back and look at my bank. Man, that's great. No, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's good because that shows that they are invested in you as
That's
much
right.
as you are invested in them. Okay,
That's right.
so when you before starting PWNC,
Mhm.
what were you doing prior to that in terms of just your career?
I was in the medical field. I started in radiology as X-ray tech, doing CAT scan and MRI in hospitals and different things like that. I was doing that, dating myself now a little over 20 something years. And then I went back to school for nursing. I went back to Gwyneth Mercy University, so shout out to them. I got my nursing degree, but I didn't do anything with it. So it was when I got my nursing degree, I decided to go into full-time entrepreneurship. So I was working at the Department of Veteran Affairs here in Philadelphia for 9.5 years every weekend. So every Saturday and Sunday, I was working while everybody else was enjoying their life. I had started that job, and I remember I was on that job for a year when I got married. And imagine being a newlywed now, and you're working every weekend. So your husband's off, you're working the weekends, and during the week, you're off. So as I'm doing this and I'm going through the motions and everything, it was nice to have the week off because it allowed me to go back and get my nursing degree. But I was like, this is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. There were family events that I missed. There was things that I couldn't go to because I had to get up and be at work. So, one day I just decided that, I don't want to do this any longer. Don't get me wrong. I loved what I did. I love working with the veterans. I think it was probably one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, to be able to work with our vets, to hear some of their stories. And they're so grateful. I remember times they would just say to me, thank you, thank you. And I would have to remind them, no, thank you. It is because of you that it allows me to do what I do.
Mhm.
So it was wonderful working with them. But again, the politics, like everything else, behind the scenes, the people above you and the powers that be. So I just decided, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to work with someone. Every time I had a job, I always had some type of side gig. I always had some type of business on the side because I knew down the line somewhere that I was going to venture out to full-time entrepreneurship and just do my own thing. It was just a matter of waiting for the right opportunity and being obedient when that came.
Mm. A lot of people right now. So I am taking a 10-week course,
Okay.
part of the county,
Mm-hmm.
and it's strictly for startups. And what I saw in there was because just restarted my consulting business, I transitioned. So, but what I saw in there was a lot of women and men who were working 9 to 5s and who
Mm-hmm.
had an idea. And only two of us out of that in this group were actually making money, I believe.
Mm.
And when you said I knew that eventually I was going to go into entrepreneurship, that you were doing stuff on the side.
Right.
but you knew in your heart.
Yeah.
What made you decide to step out on your faith, on your skills, on what you knew that you can start this without knowing anything about this?
Mhm.
What was the discriminator that said that you said, okay, this is it, this is the time?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. And it's not going to be the answer that you think.
Mm-hmm.
What made me finally decide to leave that job and go out and branch out on my own? Before I started this women's organization, I was in travel. I was a travel agent. I had a travel business on the side. And part of being a travel agent is you would get the opportunity to go to a lot of these resorts for free to, see them, experience them. So you can tell your clients about them. Well, I would put these pictures and photos and talk about them and videos and everything like that up on my Facebook page. I would put them on my Instagram page. And, I started taking a little more time off from work and they were trying to figure out what was going on. Well, what I found out is that my supervisor went and found me on Facebook to see what it was that I was doing. Now, mind you, this was illegal. He went and found my pictures and everything like that. And he brought it to my attention. You're taking time off, and I see that you're in this place and that place, and you're taking pictures and everything like that. And I said to him, you know what? I said, first of all, it's illegal what you did. I said, you're not supposed to be doing that. And I said, second of all, you just made the decision for me. I said, because I've been praying on this about leaving, and you just confirmed that for me. So he didn't understand it. So what I did is I told no one. And the reason I didn't even tell my husband that I was leaving, my husband knew I was unhappy. But I always say the reason why you don't tell people certain things, including it could be your significant other, is because you don't want to give anyone the opportunity to get into your head and talk you out of your vision. God gave me the vision. Nobody knew it. God gave me the vision. So I knew it was going to work. So I came in on a Sunday. I sat down at the computer. I typed up my resignation letter. I sent it and I was like, oh, well, I can't take it back. Was I afraid to do it? Yes, I was. Was my income in the business matched to my job income? Because remind you, I was only working 2 days, but I was making a full person salary on a great government job. But I was like, you know what, God, I'm going out on faith. I'm going to believe that the vision that you gave me, what you want me to do, is going to work for me. So it was then that I left that job. All the doors started opening for me to allow me to start this organization. And it just been flowing. So that's how I knew that this was meant for me. Because if you meet anything with resistance, it's not for you. It's not for you. If it flows like water, it's meant for you. And I knew, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I was scared, but I did it anyway. And I told my husband the day before I left my job that I was leaving in an airport. We were coming back from a trip. And I said to him, I want to tell you something. I decided to leave my job. He said to me, congratulations. He kissed me on my cheek. He said, I know you wanted to leave. I hope you have a plan. I didn't. I didn't tell him I didn't have a plan, but I didn't have a plan. But I knew I knew it was going to come together some kind of way. So,
Yeah.
and it did.
Wow. It's your story remind me of mine. Mine was different, but
Mhm,
um I love when you said was that, about resistance.
mhm,
And I think that is that's key. And
mhm.
also too, not to tell everyone about the vision,
No.
because especially it's given to you.
Mhm,
I knew when it was time for me to leave, when I went to work, it was, a lot of things had happened and I went to work,
mhm.
came back and worked from vacation. And I just remember my second in command, he was giving me status. And when he was giving me status, I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Mhm.
It was like, won't.
Yep. Yes,
And I was like, what's, you're like,
Yep.
something is wrong here. And he finished and he left and I closed my door and I was like, okay, check up, 𝙀'𝙀. And then when someone else came in and say, hey, welcome back, I couldn't understand them either.
No,
And
no.
I left that day. And
Mhm.
that was when I called my husband and I said, this is going to be my last week at work.
There you
And I
go.
talked to my boss, and that was it. And
Mhm,
and when you talk about fear, because
mhm.
you're right, you have a plan, even though you may not say you have an idea,
Right, right.
but to go from money to nothing,
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
oh my gosh. But
Yeah, you know?
I think the biggest thing is when you're serving, when you're a servant leader,
Yes.
that everything will come into place. And look
Always
at you now.
does.
And
Yeah,
look
it
at you
always does, because I knew that we were gonna go, but, it's that voice. It kept me there for 2 years long because the voice was, "Oh, you're gonna go down from 2 salaries to 1 salary. Okay, now you got married, and now you're starting a marriage off with a husband, and it's just 1 salary, and what are you gonna do?" And blah, 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 blah. Noise. So I had to block out the noise myself. We have enough noise in our own head. We don't need other people telling us, "You don't need to tell me what I already know." That's why I don't discuss with other people what I'm doing when I'm making decisions. The decision is between me and God. That's the only decisions that is necessary. So I don't need other people telling me what I need to do, what I shouldn't do. I don't give them that opportunity. So that's why you have to be careful when you're out here and you're building a business or you're building a dream or you're following your dream or whatever. You can't divulge to everybody what it is that you're doing. You can't. Because remember now, you might be talking to someone who lives fear all their life and they can't see that vision. And they might say to you, "Well, I don't know. I wouldn't do that if blah, 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 blah." Now they got you thinking, "Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right." But remember, for 5 years, they're in the same spot that they're going to be in. Their life is always going to be where it is. They're not going to get any further than where they are. They haven't seen your vision. They don't know your vision. They don't know the conversation that God had with you. It's up to you to be obedient. And I'm glad I was.
Wow. That's the spoken word for today. Spoken word. Now, in the spirit of once you decided to leap
Mhm,
and once you decide to surrender, um, what advice would you give women when they're like, okay, this is it? Or what advice would you give women? They've been working in it for 12 months and
mhm.
they're like, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. Like this isn't the what people put on social media that this is going to be amazing.
Mm.
What advice would you give them to continue doing the vision that was set forth for them?
First of all, I want to say if you are thinking about entrepreneurship, okay, make sure that's what you want to do. There is a saying, you eat what you kill. I
Mhm,
hate to say that, but that's the saying. What does
mhm,
that mean? It means that you have to work your butt off. You're going to work harder as an entrepreneur than you ever did having a 9 to 5 job. When you leave that 9 to 5 job, it's done. You don't have to think about it anymore to the next day. Being an entrepreneur, your hours, you have no set hours. You're working weekends, you're working nights, you're working all the time because if you don't work, you don't gain clients, you don't sell your products, you don't sell your services, guess what? You don't get paid. The bills still come every month. They don't want to hear, "Oh, I'm being an entrepreneur and, I got to wait for," they don't want to hear that. The bills want to get paid each month. So if you're deciding that road of entrepreneurship, and you want everybody to like you, this is not for you because you have to have a thick skin. You can't be timid. You're going to get a lot of no's, and the no's are nothing personal. You can't take anything personally in this world of entrepreneurship because it's not you they're saying no to, it's saying no to the opportunity. Maybe it's not for them. I had someone that I reached out to a year ago that I wanted to join my team. I thought she would be a great fit. I reached out to her and I was like, wow, I would love for her to join us. I just see the vision with us. I didn't hear back from her at all. I saw her on Facebook all the time, you know, uh, and everything like that. A year later now, which is now, she sends me an email, "Felicia, I'm reaching out to you because I think that you and I really need to get together to work together." And I'm like, wow, you know what? I reached out to you a year ago and I thought the same thing. I guess the timing wasn't right. So now the timing is. So since then, we've had a few meetings and things like that. And we realize now that for us to come together and work together, it would be a beautiful thing.
mhm,
But you have to have a thick skin. You have to be sure in yourself Don't quit on yourself. I always tell people, if you need to take a break, take a break. If you need some time, take time. Don't change the goal. You don't change the vision. You can change the plan around, but don't change it. Still stay true to, don't quit on yourself, because it's so easy to do. And surround yourself with people that are making it happen. You don't have people around you that, there's a saying, if you hang around with 5 millionaires, you're guaranteed to be the sixth one. You hang around with 5 people that are poor, you're guaranteed to be the sixth poor person. It's all about mindset. But you have to decide if this is for me. And a year is nothing. Let me tell you, a year is nothing. I'm going on 5 years and I'm still hustling. There's people out here that are still hustling. Let me give you a perfect example. Burger King, McDonald's, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A's have been around for years, but you still see commercials for them, don't you?
Yes.
You still see them trying to sell their food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think that McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes, all of them stop because people don't want to eat their sandwiches anymore? Because someone likes Whopper better than a Big Mac? No, they're still constantly. You see some of these stars. Beyonce just did a tour concert. How much money did she make? She didn't have to do it, but she did it. Why? She loves her art. She's still making money. She still has to survive, right? So think of it that way. You're going to be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life. A year is nothing. 5 years is nothing. 10 years is nothing. 20 years, you have some people still doing their business and still working their business.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it depends on how passionate you are. How much do you want it? If fear is a factor, then go past the fear. Work past the fear. Like I told you, everything that I have done has been successful, has been out of fear. Lord, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
And I've gotten great results because of it.
Tell me your why.
Oh my goodness, my why.
Right. So we know Napoleon Hill calls it your what is your desire? Why?
Yes.
Why, Felicia? Why this? What gets you up every day for you to say, yes, I'm doing PWNC. Yes, this is why I'm doing this. What is
my why is because I was raised by a grandmother who worked every day of her life, whether she was sick or not. She died poor. Everyone thought she had $1 million because she had $1 million attitude, but she died poor. And I promised myself that that would not happen to me. I promised myself that I would not work until I was 70, 80 years old. And I couldn't travel. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. I couldn't enjoy my life. I promised myself that wasn't going to be me. So my why to get up every day to do what I do, first of all, I come from a heart of serving. I was in the medical field. That's serving, So it was easy for me to transition over to entrepreneurship. It's all in a matter of serving. So when I get up in the morning, my thought is, what can I do next? What can I do better? What can I offer my community? How much more can I do? What can I do in the community to make things better? So that's my why.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's important. And if you don't have a why, just let you know, money is not a why.
No.
So if you are trying to figure out, and this is one thing they do say, you need to have your why, because that's what's going to get you up. That's what's going to keep you pushing. That's what's going to keep you thriving. And oftentimes when you hear people's stories, it has to do with something with their childhood, with their children, with their parents, something that gets them up every day in order to fulfill this dream.
Yes.
That seems out of reach, but they're getting up every day to do that. All right. So what are 3 critical behaviors that you believe that anyone who's going on an entrepreneur's journey is required? Like they have to have at least these 3 in order to go on this entrepreneur's journey.
Persistence, consistency, and belief. You have to believe in your dream as if you have to sleep, eat, and believe in your dream as if someone is going to take it away from you. You have to be consistent in what it is that you do, because believe me, your competition is out there doing it every day. You have to be consistent, and you have to be persistent. You have to be like that young lady. A year later, I could have wrote her off. I could have said, oh, well, that's not going to work. But she got back to me. And maybe the timing wasn't right then, but the timing is now. So those are the three things that I would definitely say you would have to be a, I won't say a successful entrepreneur, but to be a thriving entrepreneur. So there's a difference.
And I'm glad you said persistent, consistent, and have belief.
Yes.
And the reason why I believe that those three are important, one is if you're working a 9 to 5, you are doing that all the time.
Yep.
And the way I look at it is you're doing this for someone else. And I'm saying this even for me. I was persistent. You're going to be the number one,
Right.
consistently showing up, consistently outperforming, and had the belief in myself that, okay, you may not see my worth, but I see my worth. And I got to be honest, Felicia, I wish I had met you probably 3 years ago, was that when I started my entrepreneur journey, belief was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah. For most people, it is.
And I'm like, when you was working, you believed in yourself. They couldn't tell you nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that
the voice, it's the voices. Remember, your biggest critic is yourself. We are so hard on ourselves. I just had this conversation with my husband this week. People don't see we as leaders, even you know this, they don't see as leaders. We have these down days too. We have these depressed days too. We have these days that we feel like we're not doing enough. And it's just like we should be further than where we are.
Yes.
You know, we have those days. But it's ourselves, and we forget about all these other things that are happening or happened in our business, in our life that was great. You know, the positive impacts that you made on people's life, you forget about that. And you look at the little, oh, well, you know what? Oh, I should have did this more. Oh, I should have offered this more. But you forget that call that you got and said, Miss Felicia, it's because of you I started my own business. Or it's because of you with that quote that you put. I was feeling some kind of way, but I felt that quote you put up that day. God was speaking to me. We forget about those things. And those things are the most important things. So that's what it is. We listen to that voice in our head. That super ego.
And this is why you're saying that you need to be around like-minded people.
Absolutely.
They can help you get out of that.
Yes.
I guess, sooner, so that it doesn't continue to linger and take a hold of his own, take a life on his own.
Absolutely. Because when I was having a conversation with the woman from a year ago, we were talking and I told her, she's like, Felicia, she was like, have grace. She's like, the things you need to do, they're going to get done. She said, prioritize what you need to do, but most of all, take care of you. Because if there's no you, there's no PWNC. And I'm like, aha moment. But see, you need these moments from time to time. You need these little pep talks from other people that see what you're doing. You know, she's like, Felicia, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but you still got to take time for you. And I'm like, you know what? That makes so much sense. And it did. And I felt better because of it.
2 questions from that.
Mhm.
When she said, I see what you're doing. Are you amazed? Because, when you're doing stuff and you post it online and, are you like, when people say, oh, I see you, are you like amazed? Like, I didn't think anybody was paying attention.
Yep. Because let me tell you, I have put a post. Nobody made a comment. Nobody put a like. And I would talk to them and they'd be like, oh, I see what you're doing. You did this last week and congratulations on this. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say something? Yeah, you'd be surprised. I always say, you know what? You put those posts up anyway because people are watching you. They are watching what you're doing, believe it or not. The most people that are watching are the ones that don't make comments at all.
Oof.
Scientific fact.
Now, second question, she talked about taking care of yourself. How do you practice self-care?
Ooh, that's a good one. The beginning of the year, my husband and I, we try to go to the Jersey Shore. I love being near water. When I'm near water, I just feel like I'm connecting with God, and it gives me the opportunity to talk to him. Things are quiet. The dog is not there. He's not there. I'm not around people. It's just me and him and the water. Water's always changing. It's always flowing. And I think that between the dreams and just sitting and meditating and listening, if you just be still, you can hear but you have to be still first. So I love to do that. I like to go to spas from time to time. I like to go get my nails done, my toes done when I have time. You know, we as entrepreneurs, we never have time to do anything, but we have to make the time. Um, I'm not a big TV person, but when I do have my downtime to watch TV, I like to watch documentaries or I like to watch some good movies. So these are some of the things that I do. And I put those boundaries up. Like Sunday is family day. I don't talk about business. I don't take business phone calls. I don't do anything. That's my day to be with my family. Saturday, I might work a little bit, but you know, it's about letting people have access to you. I have realized that just because the phone rings doesn't mean you have to pick it up all the time. Just because someone sends a text doesn't mean that you have to reply right then and there. So it's just a matter of creating those boundaries and knowing that you have to take, because you can't give from an empty cup. You give from the overflow. You
Yes.
don't give from an empty cup.
Yes. And I believe that that we probably came from the same tribe. And I say
Absolutely.
I say this because water is a conduit for me.
Okay.
That's where I get my best ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get I say the download that needs to be download.
Yep.
You know, especially if I'm trying to work something out,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm at a point where I just, you know, nothing is sticking. You know, I tell my husband I gotta go get in the spa, or I need to go take a shower, or I need to go sit in the tub. And then
Right.
it's like as if all the downloads come. So when
Mm-hmm.
you said that in terms of water is how you're able to communicate with God, I can definitely resonate with that. And if for those of you who are listening, I think this is absolutely important. If you don't know how to have a connection to a higher power, you need to find it,
Yes.
whatever that is, because that is where you can get some of the most innovative, most creative, thought provoking ideas, solutions ever. And then it's up to you to act on it, right? Once
I
you get
agree.
that.
I
Once
agree.
and you know, it might be where you're so afraid, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe why did this pop in my head? This is
Mm-hmm.
scaring me. But I
Yeah.
definitely can relate. Definitely can relate with that. Now, okay, so Felicia, because we're gonna have to close pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay convicted to your purpose?
Ooh, wow. You know what? That's a good question. I never even thought about it. I just do it. I
Mhm.
just do it because I know I have to. It if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I feel it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If I'm sitting idle and I'm not doing it, I know there's stuff that needs to be done. And I know that I'm supposed to be getting that newsletter out, or I know I'm supposed to be working on that next business plan, or I know I'm supposed to be writing for that next grant. I feel it. I feel it. My husband tells me sometimes I can look at you and see the wheels turning in your head. I have to learn to shut it down
Mhm.
because it just it's like a motor. It just keeps going, 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 going. So I'm working on that. I'm working on boundaries within myself. You know, when there are times to shut it down and just be at peace and say to myself, okay, I didn't get this done today, but there's always tomorrow. Like someone called me today and they were like, Felicia, we got most of the paperwork, but we don't have the rest. And I'm like, well, I'll get it to you by this weekend. It's not a need for me to rush to get it to you today. My day is over. So you'll get it. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Whereas in the past, I would have been like, okay, you know, let me get it to you. And then here it is, 8 o'clock at night. They done went on with their evening and maybe went out and did whatever. And I'm sitting here trying to get paper only for them to get back to me on Monday. Meanwhile, I done did all this on Friday. So, you know, it's just, again, so I think that's a great question. I think you're the only one that ever asked me that question. That's a great question.
Got one more.
Okay.
Where do you see PWNC in 100 years?
Oh my God. Well, in 100 years, hopefully by then, it will be a house. Well, I won't say hopefully. It will be a household name by then. It will be a legacy that will be left. Um, when women see and hear about PWNC, that they'll remember me, they'll remember why I started it, and hopefully they will know that it was good intentions for them. The reason why I started it was for them. and that they will continue that legacy. So that's what I see for PwC.
Absolutely. I love it. What else would you like for the audience to know?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So before we go, I just wanted to let everybody know that PwC, which is the Philadelphia Women's Network Connection, like Uchi had told us earlier, my foundation, PwC Foundation, is in partnership with Grow with Google. What does that mean? We are afforded the opportunity to offer Grow with Google scholarships. So those scholarships consist of cybersecurity, data analysis, digital marketing and e-commerce, IT support, project management, and UX design, which would include web designs. So basically, to break it down for you, this is a 6-month course that can be done online. It requires maybe 10 hours a week, 2 hours a day for you to do it. After the 6 months is done, you graduate from this program that is hosted by Google. You get a certificate. Now you're allowed to take this along with your resume to one of the 150 companies that Google has a partnership with this Google Career Certificate Program, and show them this is what you have, and of course sell yourself to get an entry-level job. Well, entry-level job could start at 55, 65,000. Not only that, but it is also accredited for 15 college credits by ACE. So we are offering these. It's no cost to you. If you're interested, you would like more information about it, basically you get in contact with me at info@phillywnc.org. That's info@phillywnc.org. What we do is you just send us an email, let us know you're interested in the program. We will send you out the application. On the application, you're able to choose which course you're interested in. Also, there is a website there where you can go and look at the different programs and what it offers. And then once we get the application back, if you're a good fit, we set you right up. Again, everything is done online. It's done on the Coursera platform. So it's very easy. We have graduated 20 people so far from the program. So we're very excited about it all.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, we're definitely going to have that information posted, Felicia.
Okay.
And also, in addition to that, too, I'm going to want that information so I can send it out to my community as well.
Please
That
do.
is amazing. That is awesome. I think that is groundbreaking. And congratulations to your organization for the partnership with
Thank you.
Google. I think that is amazing. And what I love about just with what you mentioned is that it's such a great way for us to reinvest in ourselves.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
learning new skills, not
Yes.
having to go get another degree with funding that you probably don't have. So
Right.
that is awesome and that's amazing.
Yeah,
Felicia,
and Google's poured $100 million into this program.
really?
So, yes. So PwC Foundation was the first nonprofit organization in Philadelphia that they partnered with. I don't know since then if they have partnered with anyone else, but this is our second year of giving out scholarships. So we're very excited about it. We're very humble about it. And we just want to help as many people as we can.
Okay, just a quick question. Is there an age limit, Felicia, on it? In terms of,
You have to be at least 17.
wow. Okay. Yes, that's excellent. Felicia, thank you for joining the Women Who Leap Network. We appreciate everything you're doing. Congratulations on all of the success
Thank
and
you.
future success. And I can't wait to see where you're going to be in the next 20 years because what your purpose, your mission, and your why on why you're doing this is phenomenal. And above all, thank you for continuing to be a servant leader. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
everything
Thank
you
you.
do.
Well, thank you for having me on and allowing me to speak to your community. It's been so much fun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Wow. How amazing was that? Listen, Felicia is awesome. So, as we wrap up another inspiring episode here at Women Who Leap, I want to thank you all for joining us on this journey of empowerment and growth. Remember, each one of you is a testament to the strength, resilience, and brilliance that women bring into the world. I hope today's stories and insights ignite a spark within you, a desire to pursue your dreams fearlessly and leap beyond boundaries. I'm 𝙩𝙤𝙙𝙖𝙮, and this is Women Who Leap. Keep moving, keep striving, and keep thriving. And above all, keep breaking boundaries. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next episode.